What's happening, Passionates? She is I, and I am she. It is your girl, Passion, no last necessary. No last necessary, all one word. Yes, it's the last name. Don't remix it. Don't rearrange it. Don't add other words to it. No last necessary. Why? No last necessary, because the first name says it all. I am Passion, and all things that Passion is comprised of. Welcome to episode 2. Are you excited? You should be. I am. I'm feeling particularly inspired. I'm trying to keep myself composed because I'm super hyped. This particular episode, what did I say? I think I got it. Oh, I didn't. I thought I had that time. Let me tell y'all something, all right? All right, because these gnats, they be violating my peace. Remember I said I was trying to keep my composure? It didn't work, okay? I tried really hard, and I was doing good. We've been working, we've been in here, right? And so we've been getting it done, and they haven't really been disturbing my peace. But that one did, you know what I'm saying? Because it was trying to, get in the shot, getting a close-up. I don't know. But I had to, regulate real quick. But I don't even think I got them. But just know that you never want to be smacked by me, because every time I clap my hands, my hands be stinging so bad. So please don't ever make me smack you, because you're going to be upset. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to give Frank an opportunity to pull himself together. I'm gonna see if the homie flies back around real quick, and we're going to take a breath. We're going to take a breath.
We'll be back in this
right, a breath, a brief moment. We're going to take a second, and we'll be back in a minute. So first of all, I'm composed now. Thank you for bearing with me as I gathered myself. But y'all, so let me tell you, right? So I was laying in my bed and I'm frolicking through the Instaverse, right? So I'm just scrolling, and I get a notification. And so my good sis, what up, Johnson? She comments on one of my PSAs that I posted on the gram, and she says, "Woo, let me unpack." So I open my keyboard, and I'm actually going through the emojis because I'm looking for the suitcase icon. So when I get to the emojis where the mailbox, I see 2 different mailboxes, and then I see what looks like a package, right? So I'm like, okay, I have a quick debate, a 4-second debate as to whether I want to add that. Then it comes to me, like an epiphany. All right. Chris said, "Don't sue me, okay? I ain't got your kind of money. Thank you. I'm a fan." Okay, bye. Passionates. Yo, what I'm about to tell you, this almost knocked me straight out of my bed, Passionates. When you unpack the baggage, don't forget the boxes. Did y'all hear what I just... Wait, hold up. Don't let it gather on my belly, because I don't want to be looking crazy. But did y'all hear what I just said? Did y'all hear that? When you unpack the baggage, do not forget the boxes. Y'all, I got notes for this one, okay? Because I wasn't even about to... So anyway, I'm comfortable in my bed, right? I ain't brushed the first tooth, ain't washed the first face, okay? I'm over here just scrolling, and I want to do a PSA because I'm like, this is too good to let this drop. But then I see your man's flying around on my left. So if you see me, go that way. Okay, so anyway, I want to create a PSA. But I know how y'all get down. I know y'all be looking at everything over my shoulder and everything that you're not supposed to be looking at, because you're supposed to be looking at me. That's why you want a video, right? But so anyway, I'm like, okay,
I'm trying to reposition, I'm trying to re-angle myself, trying to restructure myself. At the same time, I need to interrupt myself because, like I said, I was very comfortable and being mostly unproductive, but minorly like productive because I was creating a reel. And let me pat myself on the back because that be work, okay? Trying to make that fit into the 30 seconds, or maybe I need an update because I see some of you are doing 60-second reels. I think I need an update, but my phone is not ready for all of that. Judge me not. Don't drop any comments about my phone being janky unless you drop $600 in my WhatsApp. So not my WhatsApp, my Cash App, so I can get a new phone. $P no last. Okay, just in case you want to drop something in my Cash App. We do accept donations here. We appreciate them. Thanks. So in the midst of all of this, I never did locate the suitcase emoji because I got too hyped, right? So I was like, okay, cool. I never found it. I'm ready to do this. If you travel, then you're gonna be able to relate to this. When you go on a trip and you first come home, you don't want to come home and have a whole bunch of work to do. You don't want to come home and have to deal with anything because you might have dealt with a long flight. You might have dealt with a delayed flight. You might have dealt with an uncomfortable flight, right? So if your flight was all of those things, sometimes the best thing that you can do for yourself is just to leave the bags wherever you put them when you walk through the door until you've just had like a moment to breathe. You just want to settle yourself. See me? So when you finally get to the place where you're ready to deal with your baggage, that's really what your mind is focused on. Just the baggage. You just want to get the bags empty so you can either put them away or use them again, and saying that when I was writing it, right, that lit a whole nother fire under me because I'm like, okay, I don't want to lose focus because I already know how I get down. And I even actually wrote that into my notes that I don't want to lose focus because I get beside myself. So anyway, let me continue to scroll. I'm going to come back to that point. So put a bookmark there. Don't forget, we put bookmarks. So put a bookmark there. We stayed on the point of emptying out the bags so that you can put them away. Bag is empty. Now you don't want it in the middle of the floor, so you close it up to put it in the closet. All of them boxes, all of them bins, the ones that you've moved around so that you can replace the luggage. The ones that you open infrequently to never. The ones that you open on a rare occasion. When you do open them, you look inside, you see the mess, you rummage around just a little bit, just enough to pull out one thing. You leave the rest of it in there all jumbled up. You close it real quick. What are you planning to do with those boxes and those bins? Before I go forward, I want to take a moment. Go back to that point where we just bookmarked. And I said sometimes you want to just leave those bags wherever you drop them. In your house, and this is if you live by yourself, right? You want to leave the bags in the middle of the floor, directly in front of the door. Have at it. You want the bags to be a fire hazard? Go ahead. You want to step over the bags every time you have to cross that space? You have my blessing. Be my guest. But this is problematic if you live with someone. Multiple reasons. Reason number one, your stuff is now, y'all see how this shirt keep getting caught? It was cute when I was standing, but this isn't really working out the way I wanted it to. We're gonna deal with that. Wardrobe, come fix me.
Okay.
Right. When I get a budget for that, meanwhile. When I get a budget, I'm gonna have merch. And so the shirt I'm gonna be wearing is gonna be shirts. Y'all gonna buy my shirts? Wait, I'm losing focus. Anyway. So reason number one is that your stuff is now in their way, right? The stuff that you left on the floor, your stuff is in their way, and you're forcing them to try to navigate around your laziness in order to not harm themselves. Reason number two, the person you live with may be an enabler. So keep in mind that if they are an enabler, that actually works out worse for you. They will step over it. They will walk around it. They will pretend it's not a problem. And when someone else trips over it and gets hurt, they'll make excuses for you instead of holding you accountable. This, by them doing this, that will encourage you to continue the behavior that's problematic. Reason number three, the other person may be the polar opposite. So instead of them being an enabler, remember, Frank, we were talking about how sometimes I get caught on the words when I go too quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, so an enabler, okay, they might be sick of your nonsense. So they'll leave the stuff there, but not so much because they want somebody else to get hurt. More so that you and your baggage can be exposed. And that the shame and the embarrassment of the exposure will force you to take responsibility for the mess you've created. And if anybody tries to put them in the middle, they're going to state the facts. That's your baggage. You left it there. It's your responsibility to clean up the mess. And it's the same with your metaphorical baggage. You have the friend that's tired of you and your gripes and the simultaneous refusal to self-correct or seek help. So they wait until your stuff blows up in your face and then they say, well, this ain't on me, fams. I told you to deal with it and you refused. So now you can deal with this and you can do it by yourself. You have the friend that pities your brokenness. So they'll make excuses and their endorsement will have you feeling like you're right. But their endorsement is also going to potentially make you codependent on that relationship because everyone else is going to get tired of your nonsense. They're not going to want to deal with it anymore. So, those friends aside, is the one or the ones that get hurt by your baggage. Your refusal to move them so they weren't a hazard and or unpack them so the stuff inside doesn't spill out. At the point of apology, depending on the person, it may not hold any weight because you chose this knowing that someone could get hurt and were willing to sacrifice them or your avoidance that you justified as protection. I'm not going to repeat that. I'm going to let you rewind that and hear it again. Okay? Because that's a really important part. If that person flew off the handle or they spazzed on you, you'd have it coming. And while you may feel like they don't have the right to address you like that, when you victimize someone because you're enshrouded in your own victimhood, you get the response you get. And no, they're not a bad person or a bad friend. This is cause and effect. This is action and reaction. This is consequence. So the luggage. It was its own obstacle course. What about the boxes? And let's deal with them in order, right? So let's deal with the boxes that are under the console table when you first come in, the boxes in the pantry closet, the boxes in that little storage closet that's more like an upright junk drawer, the boxes in the coat closet, the boxes on the floor of your bedroom closet, and the ones on the upper shelves, and the ones under the bed. And let's make our way back out of the house to the boxes in the garage, and finally the boxes in the actual storage unit. Where do you begin? And when? Here's the thing. The when isn't even a real question. You need to start now because all you're doing is accumulating more boxes when you don't have room for the boxes you already have. Where do you start? At this point, start where you're standing, beloved. Start by opening the first one, the one that's closest to you. Key thing to remember. Not opening the box doesn't make any of what's in it go away. And I say this with the full understanding that there are levels upon levels to that. There are those who feel like, okay, well then F it. I'm going to just throw the whole box away. And okay, that's fine. But the gold chain that no longer holds sentimental value, that the appraised value is $50,000, you just sent that $50K to the city dump. Meanwhile, that's the $50K that you were just praying for. So you literally threw away the blessing that you've been praying for, all in avoidance of opening the box. Make it make sense. There could be something in that box that you need, and if you would just open it, you get what you need to get and dispose of the rest. So you say, but passion, there's probably more in that box that I don't need. Possibly. But there was more in the last relationship that you didn't need than you did. And I didn't see you racing to flush that down the toilet or put it in the garbage disposal. So don't let a fear of haste hinder you. Okay? In that same vein of more that I don't need than I do, why were you holding on to it if you knew you didn't need it? What void do those things fill? Why have you been so okay with poor utilization of that space when space is a commodity? So true story about me. I love DIYs. I love life hacks and crafting videos. I actually enjoy them so much that I am developing a channel for that. I was watching this life hack video on how to store plastic bags from the supermarket. Now this obviously was before New York. Want to go running behind DC with the whole plastic bag ban. And let me tell you something, New York, whether it was Cuomo, de Blasio, whichever one of y'all it was, okay? Y'all ain't low and we ain't slow. Because y'all want to talk about, oh, we're reducing waste. What you are reducing was our ability to repurpose the bag. Because y'all knew that we were using them as garbage bags. So you can't say, oh, y'all just throwing them away. Yeah, I'm throwing away full of garbage. What you did was redirect my dollars back into the plastic bag makers like Glad and Hefty so that I could spend my money with them instead of just getting my money's worth out of the bag that I've already paid for when I pay for the groceries. I see you. I hope everybody else did too, but if they didn't, now y'all know the jig is up, okay? Go rally, go write your, what you call them? Not your ombudsman, your assemblyman. Tell them you have a problem with it. I mean, it's too late, but, you know. Pay attention to what's going on around you, but I don't want to get too far off topic, because y'all know I get distracted, and then I can't find my place in my notes. But in any event, so the video, the hack is that you roll the bags a certain way, right? And then you store them in an old disinfecting wipes container, right? And you dispense them the same way that you would dispense the disinfecting wipes, right? Genius. So at this time, I had a half a closet. So I have a closet in the front of my home, and it's divided in two. And on one side is a rod where obviously we hang things, and then on the other side, it's just like two miscellaneous shelves and then empty space. Really about the size of like a very snug recording booth. Very snug. But it could be a recording booth nonetheless. In any event, I had like, the closet was almost full to the top shelf. Not to the top shelf, but to the first shelf of empty bags. So there were bags and bags and bags and bags. I said, okay. So I take out a bag full of bags, look at each bag. Don't tell me about how that's too much, okay? Because it's too much for you to assess the bag and make sure there's no holes in it until you decide you want to use that bag as a garbage bag. Now you don't want to clean out the garbage can because of the spaghetti sauce that spilled through, when you could have saved yourself all of that work by just looking at the bag and making sure it didn't have any holes in it. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just right. But in any event, I did my assessment, right? If the bag had holes in it, I would put it to the side so I could take it across the street. Because at the time, the supermarket across the street had a recycling center for plastic bags. So I put it to the side so I could send those over there. The other ones, I did the rolling technique. I put it in the thing. Okay. I went from having a closet full of bags to having 3 containers and maybe like 2 tissue boxes. Even if it was 5 containers and 3 tissue boxes. The point is, I went from having a closet full of bags to not even taking up a shelf of space. When you unpack the bags, don't forget the boxes. Unpack the bags inside the bags. Going back to our suitcase analogy, right? You took the clothes out, you took the shoes out, but you didn't empty out the cosmetics bag. Now by the time you get around to unloading that, your toothbrush has lotion in it, your razor done shredded up your $25 lashes, you left the swimsuit that you wore for that last swim before leaving for the airport in the wet bag. Now it smells like mildew and mold grew on it. The correlation, the things that you aren't dealing with, the things that you're neglecting, the things that you're overlooking as unimportant and something that can be put off until later, these things are bleeding their way into other areas of your life. And by the time you realize it, the damage will already be done. My question to you is, how much more are you willing to risk just to avoid your stuff? How long are you willing to pretend not to see the boxes or pretend that the things in the boxes need to be dealt with as much as the contents of the bags? you know there's a spider in the box that you're running from. If that spider is pregnant and lays its spiderlings in that box, you can now have 50 to 1,000 spiders comfortably cohabitating with you. You good with that? First of all, that's not cap. Y'all know I'm a nerd. Y'all know I love me some research. Okay, so you know I already verified this on multiple sites. Say yes, a spider can lay anywhere from 2 to 1,000 spiderlings at one time. You were running from one spider. You good with residing with a community of them? Because I'm not. Okay? Again, unpack the bags. Within the bags, get rid of what you can use, what you can't use rather. Properly put away what you can. Because what's the point of throwing it back in the bag, or the box, or the bin, or the drawer, if when you need it, you won't remember where you tossed it, and you won't be able to access it quite possibly without overturning everything else. So I came to this point before about unpacking them so that you can use them again. Beloved, if you are emptying out your bags right now, and we're talking about the metaphorical bags because you not jump all over the place. And so for the newbies, I know it might be challenging to follow along. So successful people leave clues. There's your clue. Okay, we're talking about the metaphorical bags right there. If you're emptying out your bags, you're getting rid of the resentment, the hurt, the bitterness, the regret, the hatred, the addiction, all of this stuff. Just so that you can make room to pack away new negative stuff, you're not growing. Excuse me. You're wasting your time. You're doing exactly what a dog does when it chases his tail. Y'all want to know? This is what you do. Because I ain't trying to owe him any money. Okay? Shout out to Noriega. But he got a podcast. He already making bread. Nori, let me hold $20. Please. I'm in the Bronx. $P no less. Thanks. Appreciate it. In any event, when you unpack your luggage after a trip, even if you have to fly right back out, you wash your clothes, right? The answer is yes. Because if it's not, then I'm judging. We talked about this. I do judge. Like, I don't judge, but I do judge. I'm going to definitely judge that because that's nasty. So the answer is yes, that you wash your clothes. You don't just put them in your closet or repack them. Okay. The goal is to start with a clean slate. It's the same thing when you unpack your mental luggage. Don't clear out the stuff just so you can repack it in the next situation. At that point, if that's what you're doing, you're confirming for yourself and for everyone else that your stuff is your crutch. And you never wanted to let it go in the first place because you wanted something to lean on when your bad behavior gets rebuked. Oh, because you know that XYZ happened to me, and so that's why, okay. And you know that ABC is a therapist, so go get help. There's that. The little thing with wings, he's over by the camera, y'all. And that is a bag that I have unpacked for y'all, that I am greatly disturbed by insects. Even though I am a plant mom and I really love my plant babies, as you can tell. If you fly in the y'all see him? He in the... And Frank is over here just trying to encourage me to like keep going, but I can't because look, now he gonna act like he caught him and threw him away. All he did was grab the air.
Shut up. They can't see that.
He just grabbed the air.
I was dancing.
Like, I can get it. He grabbed the air and threw it to the side like, goodbye, Frank. In any event. So, the last point that I want to make, because, and I didn't even write this point, so this time I'm not even going to be looking down. I'm just making I'm going to be making eye contact with y'all, and I'm not even going to be disturbed by the thing with wings. I'm disturbed. I just lied. In any event, I was coming home from the store. No, first I was walking to the bank, and when I was walking to the bank, I saw somebody. We left the building together. When we left the building, I ended up having to come back upstairs. I ran into them again in the shopping center. The hand truck that they were carrying, or pushing rather, they were pushing that so that they could go purchase like 3 or 4 storage bins from National. When I was coming out of the supermarket, I saw somebody else have purchased those same storage bins. This is the closing point before I say my last few words. If you're gonna go out and purchase new bins, if you're gonna go out and purchase new baggage, if you're gonna go and fill these things up, and you're not going to deal with any of the old baggage, you're not going to deal with anything else that's tucked away, that's hidden away, that's just there consuming such a valuable commodity as space, for the next set of things that you're getting ready to pack away, whether it's good memories or bad ones, whether it's clothes that you're hoping to fit into or clothes that you intend to donate, whether it's baby clothes that this baby has outgrown but you're hoping for a next child, so you're keeping it so you can use them as hand-me-downs. Whatever it is that you're planning on packing into these new bags and you're planning on packing into these new bins, please do an inventory list. And don't do it because I made the suggestion, but do it because at some point you're going to need to find what's in these items. A lot of you have stuff in storage, and when you go to the storage unit, you open it and then it's like, and then there's the deflation, because you have a gajillion things in there, and you went in there for one thing that's in a box that looks like all the other boxes, that even if it were labeled, because there are several boxes with that same label, you'd still have to go through multiple boxes to get to that one thing. Do an inventory list for yourself. If you're gonna put bad memories, bad dreams, bad advice into this one box, write it down so you know what's in that box. And when you're ready to deal with that box, since you're not ready right now, you know exactly what box to go and get so that you can deal with it. So the day that you decide, you know what, I'm ready to go to counseling, the day that you decide I'm ready to go to therapy, the day that you decide that you're going to check yourself in for 72 hours, because that's a real thing and there's nothing wrong with it. The day that you decide that you're going to sign up for life coaching or career coaching or whatever, you can deal with everything at one time. You know what your blocks are and you know why you have these blocks, because you haven't dealt with what's in these boxes, but you do know specifically, this is the box with all of the bad dreams. This is the box with 7 to 10 years old, and there was a lot of ugliness at 7 to 10, and it still affects you, but you just keep a lid on it. If you know that this is the 7 to 10 box, it'll be a lot easier when you sit down with somebody who's professionally trained, certified, and or licensed to assist you with sorting through it and obtaining the tools so that you can get through everything that you need to get through. I think that I've said most of what I want to say, if not all. Just this final thing, that when we finally decide to tackle the prominent ones, more times than not, it's because those are the ones that are in front of our faces. They're the ones that we see, that we know about, and that we remember. But there are the boxes, and I think that really goes to the point that I was just making, there are the boxes that are so neatly and perfectly hidden away, we forget all about them. And sometimes that's a measure of protection, right? Sometimes that's at 7 to 10 box. Sometimes that's at 3 to 6 box, right? It's a trauma response to help us cope. So sometimes we hide those boxes away because we really need help unpacking them, and we're either afraid to ask for that help or we just don't know how. Sometimes we don't know who to ask because we've asked in the past and we've either gotten no help, we've gotten mocked, or we've been judged. And while all of those can be extreme deterrents, we can't allow the lack of help or the lack of access to keep us from getting the help we need. Sometimes it's that last box that we forgot all about that's the key to our rebirth. That's the key to becoming our best self. That's the key to being able to forgive everyone who's hurt us and forgive ourselves for not only hurting others, but too often justifying and being unapologetic for the damage that we've done. We've covered some great ground here today. I'm not going to say anything else on the subject. I want you to go forth. I want you to be great. I want you to be filled with bliss, be armed and empowered with knowledge. Unpack the bags. Don't forget the boxes, the prominent ones and the ones that you have to dig deep to find. Unpack them. Seek the help. And if nobody's willing to help you, continue to seek the help until you're able to find somebody who is. And in all things, be passionate. I will talk to you.